The game starts and we are having the white pieces. We play d4, the London system. He played d5. We develop our bishop to f4 square. He developed his bishop. We just develop our knight to f3. He captures the knight with his bishop and then we recapture the bishop with our pawn. He plays e6. We play e3. He plays a pawn push to g5 square attacking my bishop, and I just take my bishop to some other square, which is this, to e5, protecting my bishop from this pawn. Then he just pushes this pawn here, attacking the bishop again, and I just take my bishop on this square, which is g3. Next he pushes his pawn to h5 square, uh, planning to just push the pawn again to this square, which is h4, and trap my bishop. I can't take this bishop on any of the square as there will be a capture of the bishop. So I just made a pawn push here, and he can't just trap my bishop now. Next he pushes his pawn to g4. I develop my bishop. He develops his knight. I develop my knight. He takes the pawn with his pawn, and just I recapture the pawn with my queen, bringing my queen into the game. Next he pushes his pawn here, and I just take my bishop on this square, having a trade. Here he just captures with his knight. I recapture with my pawn. Next, then he just takes his bishop to b4 square, pinning my king with a knight. So I just block the attack with a pawn push on c3 square. They are attacking the bishop here. So he have to take his bishop to some other square, which he takes here, and I just re-attack with a pawn push to b4. He goes here and I push my pawn to b5 square. Then he develops his knight on this square. I push my pawn for having a trade here, like this and then this. But when he takes this, I just take this pawn here instead of taking like this. He takes and I capture this pawn here, which is a blunder because when I see now, I know that he can just capture this, but he didn't. He just take his knight on this square, attacking this pawn. I don't know why. When this was also as well a blunder, and this move was as well a blunder. So yes. Next, I just give a check by making my queen move to c6 square. He moves. I take the pawn. He takes the pawn, and then I give a check. He can't take the queen as the queen is being protected by the bishop. He moves. I take the pawn, free pawn. He have to move again because it is a check. He moves. I take the knight. It is a check again. He moves, and I just gave a checkmate here. So this is the last game, and if I won this game I will be 600 elo, and our next target will be to achieve 700 chess elo. So the game starts and we are having the white pieces. I start the game with a pawn push to d4, playing the London system. He plays c6, the Karukan. The next move will be this, and he is just expecting I should play this move, but I develop my bishop as I am playing the London system. He pushes his pawn to this square. I develop my knight to f3. He develops his knight. I push my pawn to e3. He pushes his pawn here. He must want to just uh, bring his bishop into the game. I think so. Due to this, he did this. I think so. We develop our bishop. He does the same, and we bring our knight as well into the game. And he pushes his pawn here, and this. The opening is done. Next, he plays this here. Knight to f6. We castle. He castles, and we play this, attacking the knight, which was a bad move according to the evolution bar. He pushes the pawn, we capture. He rather than taking like this, he takes like this, keeping the queen inside and safe. We play knight to e5. He captures and we recapture, and he captures back with knight. We push our pawn, captures, which is a bad move as you can see. I am losing already. I capture the pawn. He takes with the queen. I am having a completely losing position. I push my pawn to c4, attacking the queen. He moves on g5 square. I take my queen here, pinning, no, just attacking the knight. He takes his rook into the game. Now here I move my knight all over these squares here to just capture the queen, like this here, and he just blundered. Now it is a check and I can take the queen as well. So he moves and he resigns and I just capture his queen with my knight, and we reach an elo of 600. The black pieces. So our opponent opened the game with e4. We respond with d6. They develop their bishop to c4. We develop our knight to f6. Why they took it here, I don't know. They could have just developed another piece or pushed a pawn to develop their another bishop, but they just took it a step back. I don't know why. We pushed a pawn up to having an idea to bring the bishop over here and then just castle. They pushed the pawn. We capture with our pawn. They bring the game. They bring the queen into the game. We will do the same, taking the bishop on g7 square. He gave a check. I blocked with a pawn push. He have to move here. We castled. He developed a knight. We attacked the queen again. He played c5 protecting the queen. Then we develop our another bishop. He takes, and I just played this attacking both queen and the knight, but he can take it back. He takes and I recapture with the queen. He played d3. I pushed my pawn over e5. He attacked my bishop. I take it with my bishop. He attacked my bishop with his rook. I played this. The idea is if he takes, I can give a check and it's a mate, and this happens. This is a blunder, massive blunder, and I will just place my queen here and it is a checkmate. So now we are finally 600 chess elo, and now our next target is to achieve 700 chess elo.